The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
This is Stephen Wright. You're listening to Tech Talk Radio.
Yeah.
That?
Something along that line.
Yeah, I guess that was it. All
right. Let's go with it. I love it.
No, I'll say it anyway. Hi, this is Stephen Wright, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio. But, I've already been saying that.
I love you, Stephen. Can't wait, man. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
Changes again because I'm looking at Shawn's setup. Last week we talked about him, and so what did you added an old iPhone 7 in the back, but now you've changed it again.
Well, I had a GoPro mounted there before, and I just hadn't run the cables to it. If I run it the way I want, about 20 feet. Up the wall, through the drop ceiling, make it look nice. So I bought a 30-foot HDMI, a 25-foot USB to power it, but the HDMI is still good.
Oh, run this thing through your ceiling, get the drop, get it right where you want it, and you're getting nothing out of it.
Oh. No good.
You're doing this with an old GoPro. If somebody didn't want to take an old iPhone or an old Android device and use a GoPro, you're not using the most recent GoPro, which could be kind of pricey.
Yeah, I don't even know what the new ones go for. I think they're on the Hero 12 or Hero 13 now.
Yeah. They're like almost $500.
Yeah, that's an average price for them. So I'm running a Hero 3 Plus, which is the last GoPro that I've personally bought myself. I like it. It just works.
Isn't it a GoPro, though, when you use them, you used to get a kind of a wide angle, almost a fisheye type of lens look. You could eliminate that.
Everybody thinks, I'm only going to get a fisheye with these, right? So this does not look fisheye.
No.
I mean, it's wide, but this is on its most, it's on it. You can do, on this one at least, probably with the newer ones, I'm not even sure because I haven't really shot the video on the newer ones. You can do narrow, medium, or wide.
GoPros are pretty sturdy cameras. I've shot weddings, and I've had it as a backup camera. If I wanted to go to a full shot of the crowd, I'll have it record on a GoPro. I'll have it record on my main system. I'll have it record on another camera that captures from a different angle. And it's great because I have that footage there of the full crowd or from behind, like maybe even use two of them. And it's been great for the old GoPros. Could still be used today to capture all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah, it kind of revolutionized action sports. I bought my first GoPro back in 2008. I worked for a small web marketing company. We did a lot of stock car racing for the ARCA Reback series, and they were looking for some in-car camera systems to record stuff. I just happened to find this camera, and I was like, oh, what is this? This is a cool looking thing. I found it on some third-party website. I don't even think GoPro was selling them by themselves yet. I think they were only selling them to resellers. And so I bought it, and I think it launched in 2008. And it was just called the GoPro Hero. Then they updated to the HD Hero, and then the Hero 2, and then the Hero 3. So, but they're all the way up to...
and they've got competition now. We've talked about it before, the Asako brand. I think it's Asako or Ashako. They have a camera that, when you look at the price difference between the action cameras, like we had a listener that had a 10-year-old son that wanted an action camera, wanted to put it on different devices and be able to tape with it, and she was a little hesitant about spending $400, $500 on a camera like this. So we recommend, well, why not start smaller, start with a Shako or some of the other brands that are out there that are not as expensive and could give you good results, and then they can grow into GoPro and understand the difference between them.
Yeah, you had Sony had one.
Yeah.
You had
Vivitar, they had one.
Kodak made one. Nikon made one. Insta360 made one. DJI made one. GoPro kicked it off, and then everybody, then the cheap Chinese ones came flooding into the market.
Right, yeah.
So now pretty much you can buy 5 different brands that are exactly the same.
Who would you say is probably their biggest competition? Is it going to be DJI or...
DJI and Insta360.
Insta360s I love, but to me, it just seems like it would be really difficult if I don't want that big convex shot of the world below. Because for those who don't know, maybe you've seen a motorcyclist riding around town and they got a little stick on their motorcycle. There's a camera on that, and it will get rid of that stick, and then it looks like it's floating above the rider. But it can give a full 360-degree view which is pretty amazing. But sometimes the views are way out there. Other times I've seen them more along the lines of maybe a GoPro. I mean, they could do some really amazing things.
There's a niche market. GoPro just made it easy. And I'll say this to you. They screwed the pooch with their Karma drone.
Yeah. What happened with it? Was it too good, or was it just
No. Well, so they partnered. So they had a weird, I don't even know how to really explain it. I don't want to call it a partnership, but 3D Robotics.
Yep. 3DR
had a drone that they had a gimbal mount on it that just mounted your GoPro. So GoPro said, "Hey, this is great. Here's an accessory that works with 3D Robotics." Then they went and made their own and called it the Karma. And on launch of the Karma, they had almost 90% battery failure within like the first 10 minutes of flight.
Yeah, that's not
dropping
good.
out of the sky.
That's not good.
And they put so much money into it. They've wiped it. They've wiped the Karma from the face of the planet. It's so hard to find any information about it. But it was so terrible. Everybody just went to DJI.
And DJI has been doing some great things with their, power supplies now. It's kind of like they shifted their focus, and I don't know if they did that because of pending litigation or whatnot from the United States.
I just think with the lithium ion technology and the lithium iron, the LiFo Plus, the LiFo P, whatever LiFo batteries are coming out. That's the technology that's going into this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So why not, if you're investing in that for drones and stuff, you're going to want to invest in the power plants themselves, like the solar generators and stuff. And it makes sense.
Yep.
And really you're targeting the outdoor community, the outdoor enthusiast, right? You're not just targeting the camera person. You're targeting an entire lifestyle, life culture now. I foresee they'll probably be making their own solar panels at some point. So once the technology decreases in cost to make the solar panels and stuff, I think you'll be seeing more of those companies also including solar panels, not just the chargers, right? Because like you have Rockpals, Jackery, DJI,
Anchor's doing
a couple other big ones. That's where it's going.
I love their ad campaign because it is about the outdoors, how they can quickly recharge a drone if they're out there, trying to get some fun video and whatnot. They could recharge it in a minimal amount of time. They could run their devices they may need for a camping trip. That's what they're able to do now with this new DJI portable power bank, which is pretty good.
It's good. It's right on our camper. We've got 200 watts worth of solar that recharges our AMG 12-volt battery for off-the-grid camping.
Right.
I mean, one big deep cell battery for that is not great, but it gets overnight and then it recharges during the day when it's sunny.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It won't run the air conditioning or stuff like that, but that's what you have shore power for. But.
Right. Did you see the story about the bear in Montana? We're talking about GoPro. And one thing that kind of surprises me, they lost this GoPro camera from what I understand, it was a couple of months, and a brown bear comes along, finds this, starts trying to chomp on it. Next thing you know, he starts it up. And
so it's funny because you've seen when GoPros came out, they were everywhere, right? They're around the world. You give people access to cameras and they're going to do cool stuff. You see them mounting them on dogs, cats, birds, stealing them out of the sky, that kind of stuff. But to a bear?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen them where like an animal will eat it or try and chew on it or something, right? But this one was interesting because a bear finds this camera, somehow manages just by, I'm assuming, just biting on it or turns it on. And there's a video clip of this bear. And it's about four minutes long. It looks like it's just somebody setting it up, but then you see these big paws and then you see its face. And it's
almost like it took a selfie, isn't it? I mean,
everybody that uses a GoPro has a GoPro selfie.
Yeah.
Right. And I've got several of them. And it's kind of comical because it's like this weird like a fisheye look of your face. But this is clever because it's pretty impressive that this bear turned it on.
So easy a bear could do it. And again, you can see this on our blog.techtalkradio.com. I mean,
so
there you go. There was the selfie.
There's the selfie.
Yeah.
There's just inside of his mouth.
It's like he needs to see a dentist. Yeah. Needs to see a dentist. Did the bear mail the GoPro back to the original owner? I mean, how did they find the They must have just found the camera.
It doesn't say. Somebody must have found it.
Can you imagine, Shawn? I mean, you like getting out in the wild, and you lose a camera. You lose it. I've heard people go through this with their smartphone, and then they get it back, and the footage that they find sometimes is a little extra. You imagine the person who owned this GoPro gets his camera back. and there is this bear chomping on it. I mean, it's priceless.
I mean, you imagine loading that footage of going, oh, it's cool. I'm going to, somebody found a GoPro and they're going to see what's on it. And then watching that, like,
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm going to have to do some more research to figure out exactly how that happened.
We'll have the link so you can watch the full video again up on the website. We like to tell you about stuff that's coming up. Of course, the next Apple event is happening. Let's see, it'll be a week from Monday, September 9th, which is going to be a little different than how they've done things in the past. For some reason, I don't know why, but
It's on a Monday.
They've never done it on a Monday. They've always done it on a Tuesday. You know, where they've announced a brand new product, and they're talking about, I don't know, they're talking about the iPhone 16. I don't know. I
think so. There'll be some sort of announcement on the next iteration of the M chip, right? M4, whatever that's going to look like. You're going to see that. You're going to see probably a new iMac, or a new Studio, Mac Studio. But I think we're going to see a new Vision.
A new Vision is that why you think maybe they're switching and doing it on a Monday?
I don't know. I think we're going to see another Vision, or a Vision Lite, or a Vision, not a Vision Pro, but like a Vision Lite, or something that's going to compete with the Meta.
Right.
Something that's going to compete with the Vive, the Rifts, those types of things.
You don't think they're giving that up at this point? I mean, because it's been, it was a lot of excitement when it was first announced. And for those who don't know, this is their version of, virtual reality, augmented reality. And then it just kind of got quiet.
But it's not what people want, right? It's like 3D TV.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thought it was cool, and you had a bunch of people, early adopters, go out and buy 3D TVs and glasses, but then people would come over to your house and be like, oh, I've only got one pair of glasses. Let's watch the World Cup in 3D.
Right.
ESPN shot like 3 events in 3D, and then it was just like worthless. It's weird because you think it's cool, like VR is cool. You just have to really get people to latch onto it. You have to get people to engage with it. You have to have content for people to do in it. And Oculus has that with Meta.
I love the demos that they were doing with Vision. I mean, the demos of having that, the menu system in front of them and being able to select and I'm used to looking at a monitor or even a laptop. I played Call of Duty the other day, which I haven't played a game in forever. And it was exciting for me. Now, if I had to put on a headset, it'd be a whole different type of experience. And I don't know if I'd be into it as much.
Yeah, I think some people like it because you could extend desktops and have it just in your field of vision. Like you can just extend your desktop and have it there as big as small as you want, right?
Right.
And I could see it for productivity, right? But that's not what people want these for.
Yeah.
Right? People want to play games. People want to watch movies. People want to engage with the content, right? Like Apple is smart about things like this, right? They understand there's a need for these types of things, but they gatekeep people with their price.
Yeah.
Right? It's when I was watching the event with a coworker of mine who has been an Apple fanatic since the 80s and has had and lived out in California and did Apple developer conferences. He's been there, right? And he was like excited for a new product. And we were watching it and he's like, oh, this is great. Like this is going to be right in the, it's going to be $2,500 max, right? That's what he was saying. Like that, I was betting around $2,500, right? And then they dropped this $4,900 price tag.
Yeah.
And immediate technological turnoff, right? Just done. Not even interested anymore. It's going to be cool. Maybe I'll get to try it one day, but I don't know anybody that has one. I don't know anybody that ponied up the money to buy it.
Yeah, Apple was for a while, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were saying, come on into the store. You could experience it, but you had to sign up for it, and there was a line. And then were people...
Yeah, but what good is that? The average Joe could go to Apple and try it?
Yeah.
It's just getting people into their store, right? It's like that's salesman 101. If you can get people into your store, they're likely going to buy something. Here's this new flash, you think, come try it. Well, now you're in my store, now buy something else. You can't try and compete in the VR market. I don't even know if they're trying to compete because they're technically completely separate products. Like you have the Vision Pro is productivity, and that's what they're pushing. Productivity. There's no games for it, hardly any games for it. And if they were to drop the price by half and put games on it, Apple Arcade, Netflix, Disney Plus, you name it, they would sell so many.
Let me ask you, the first time you experienced virtual reality or augmented reality, was it the type of device you put, was it Meta, or was it the type of device you put your smartphone in the front and you had to get an app and you would do it that way?
No, even better. The Nintendo Virtual Boy. I
don't even remember that.
Oh, it's Google it. It's hilarious.
Yeah?
The Nintendo Virtual Boy. If anybody has, it was a little tiny LCD screen. It was terrible.
Really?
But that was my first VR experience. But no, my first VR experience was a Rift S. So Oculus Rift S, gifted to me by a friend of mine who had upgraded and didn't want his old Rift anymore. It's hardwired in, DisplayPort, and power. Somewhat adjustable to wearing glasses. You know, if you can get the individual lenses if you want for your prescription, whatever. But it's still wildly immersive, and I enjoy it. And I like to play walkabout mini golf with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do flight simulator in it. I like to do Formula One in it, with the racing wheel. I did dirt rally with it. There are plenty of games in there that are fun to play with, and again, it is immersive. It's fun to play. It's fun to sit in, and you don't realize how engaged you are with it until you're in it, and then you're like, oh, I can look around the world, and I'm in, and I'm immersed, and that's what people want. People want to escape reality. That's why it's called virtual reality. But you have that one side of the people that want to be productive, because if you can make a technology productive and increase the productivity of people with it, that's going to make you money by saving money. But people don't want to be productive with virtual reality. They want to play games and watch movies.
It is kind of funny, though. When I'm at home, even, I don't like to wear headphones. I like to, if I'm at home, even if I'm home alone, I don't like to wear headphones, even though the sound can be sometimes a little more dynamic with the 360 feel of sound. I get a little nervous because, I'm just like everybody else. Somebody could break into my house. I'm not going to hear them, or if somebody's going to be at the door, I'm not going to hear it. So wearing a virtual headset like the Vision Pro, that would make me a little nervous too.
Oh yeah, you can totally get lost in it, right? And that's the point of being immersed, right? You are in it. I could see where this technology could get dangerous down the road, and it's only going to get better. You're only going to get more immersion, more sensory feedback, more haptic feedback, that type of stuff, right? We're going full Ready Player One, right?
Yeah.
Where you're going to be in the Oasis, but the full haptic suits and all that stuff. I'm sure, and you got Neuralink with Musk. There's 2 human patients that we know of, and they're able to play games and do stuff in just their brain. Like, they don't even have to do anything.
Is there burnout, though, on, we're getting back to the Apple event, though, on the iPhone announcements? I mean, is there burnout, like, oh, iPhone 16 now?
I mean, it's diminishing returns, right? You could only continue to get something so much before you have to innovate a new product, right?
But it seems like it's almost every year now. I know it's not, but it just seems like it.
No, they announce a new phone almost every year. They have to, because the technology is going so fast. They have to keep up.
And AI will probably be the groundwork for what we're going to see from Apple.
Yeah, and I was reading something about some of the new AI stuff that you're going to get in with your phone, with the cameras and stuff too, right? So there's going to be some AI built into the cameras that can do certain things, can blur faces, it can blur, and now you have to be able to turn that off. Mm-hmm. Just to get a basic photo. Like, now you're gonna have AI in your photos every day. Like, this is something I've talked about a lot, right? We are outpacing the human experience with technology.
Yeah.
Technology is taking over the human experience. Literally. Photos, videos, we are taking out the creative human element with technology. And that scares me.
Yeah.
Because that's how our brains work. We have to be creative. We have to do stuff. We have to have an outlet for it. And if we're taking that away from us, what's that going to do for the mental psyche of the world?
Right.
So that's my biggest fear.
We're letting tech do it all for us. It's
because we're lazy.
Yeah.
Humans are lazy.
Yeah, we don't have to.
I'm gonna admit that. If I can find an easier way to do something, I'm gonna do that.
Well, I have found a way to make stuff better using AI. Sometimes when I'll just just can't find the right wording. All right, can you redo this paragraph for me? I've had it do that, and I'll look at it, and it flows a little better. or if I quickly need something uppercase to lowercase. And I did that on a segment on Fox 11. ChatGPT can do that for you. So again, then I don't have to sit there and retype the whole thing. Even Word doesn't allow me to do that.
So I did get invited to the ChatGPT pilot for the university.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually been using ChatGPT.
Oh, wow. What do you think?
The goal is to how can I make my job better with AI?
Right.
So the things that I found that have been easy for it is making custom scripts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, I need a Rostock command for my switcher that will take this video input and put it on that ME and do a dissolve. I can just tell it, make me a Rostock command that'll do this function, and it spits it out. I can copy it and paste it right in, hit the button, and it does it.
I have heard of people using ChatGPT to create websites, the coding for websites.
Yep.
And
You can tell it, hey, I need an HTML website, and I want it to look like this. I want this to be the theme. I want it to use these pictures, and you can actually upload. You can actually put the pictures into ChatGPT, upload them, and tell it to lay it out just like this, and it'll spit it out. Part of that is seeing how other people on campus are using it. But what I've really found it easy for is searching manuals.
Oh, all right.
Like, hey, I'm having this problem with my TriCaster, and it says, okay, here you can find this in the this is the manual, and here it is. Instead of having to search the manual, I can just say, this is what I want to do, and it'll just either point me to the manual, or it'll find it and put it in a way that I can read it, so I don't have to go to the manual. And then today, I was looking for the manual for the refrigerator in my camper because I'm getting my camper ready.
Right.
And I just said, find me the manual for my Norcold this model number, and it spit it right out. Here's where you can find it. Here's where you can download it.
Amazing.
All right, how do I engage night mode on my fridge? Boop. Here's how you engage night mode based on this searching the manual.
Right.
It's weird how easy it is to do that stuff, but when you have the entire web at your fingertips, it's pretty easy.
Well, I think we were pretty surprised when we could do searches with Google, and now ChatGPT has taken that to the level. We'll have to see what happens when Google has this integration of AI or even ChatGPT. They're going to have their own search engine, how that's going to work. And so far, it sounds like from your experience, it might work out pretty good.
It's working out pretty good, and I'm curious to see. We have this whole division of the university now that's dedicated to AI and ethics.
Right.
So it's going to be curious to see this school year how that plays out.
Going to take another quick break. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. Just a reminder, you can check out our blog.techtalkradio.com. Check out the video from the segment, which is all being recorded via AI through Zoom. And something new that they're doing. We're talking about AI. They take it and they give us a transcript. Now, I haven't been using it. I still listen to it and do that, but it's pretty amazing how they're able to do that. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWard. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Hey, what's up? This is Tom Arnold, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio. They're really great, and I love them. Hey, how about a copy of Windows? Can I get a laptop?
We have a couple listener questions, and if you want to have your question read on air and answered, email us at techguys@techtalkradio.com or send us a Facebook message. We all have access to it and can read it and respond, and we'll read your questions on the air and get you an answer. So we've got two for you today. Jim in Tucson says, I'm having sticky keys Windows 7 laptop. Now,
Sticky keys. Oh, boy.
Right. So, Jim, I want to know, is this where you hold the shift key down too long and it tells you sticky keys is turned on? Where the shift button comes on?
Forgot about that.
Right? Or are your keys physically sticking because you spilled something?
I think that's what it is.
Or something's broken. If it's a mechanical keyboard, it's a laptop, so it's not mechanical. Yeah. But he asks, I want to upgrade to Windows 10, but only if I can fix the keys, which sometimes stick or can't be read. Jim, I think you're just bunk, dude. I think you just got to get a new laptop. If you're having sticky key problems and they're not working properly, it's either a hardware problem, and you try re-imaging your machine, but upgrading to Windows 10 isn't going to solve a keyboard problem.
No.
Like, the software is not going to fix a hardware problem.
I think what it sounds to me like he wants to go to Windows 10. He's just on 7 and finally decided he wants to go to 10.
If you're running Windows 7 on a laptop, you're likely not going to get great performance in Windows 10 anyways.
Yeah, the idea of maybe a new laptop would be good. However, if he is stuck, the keys can be replaced. Now, generally this takes, if you took it to like, Geek SWAT, or you took it to a shop, they might charge you quite a bit for it. Because
a lot of those older laptops, they had to replace the whole top shell, and then
you got to take the thing apart. You got to take it apart, and then you got to unhook those cables at the bottom of the keyboard. Order a new keyboard, put it. I've done a couple of those, and they're actually not that bad. They could take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, but then you got to buy the keyboard itself, which is generally going to be about $20 to $25, depending on the laptop, and it also depends on the laptop. Depends how those keys are set up. Sometimes I have found, I don't know about you, if you take that laptop, and you can do this with a keyboard too. So you've got just the keys just don't feel good. Maybe they stick a little. You can actually, unplug it, turn it upside down, and give it a good shake. You might be surprised at the crumbs that fall out of it.
Yeah, or get one of the little vacuum blowers that I got. PC blowers, that works great. We bought one at work. We actually bought one at work for cleaning our keyboards.
Right. Don't stick your Hoover on top of it, that you use in the home. They actually have a portable vacuum cleaner. You bought one. I know I bought one too. They're really good.
So if worse comes to worse and you don't want to get a new laptop, you can buy a USB keyboard and mouse and plug it in and use it just as is with the laptop. That kind of defeats the purpose of a laptop, but if you have to use a keyboard and mouse, you can disable the onboard keyboard and use a USB keyboard and mouse to keep going. But like I said, Windows 7 came out a long time ago.
Isn't that funny? It doesn't seem like that long, but
it's been a good run, but it might be time to retire that laptop.
All right.
And get on to greener pastures with Windows 10 or something that can run Windows 11.
And the good news is the price that he probably paid for the Windows 7 laptop back when that came out, probably going to find maybe a better performing laptop now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're going to find a better performing laptop now.
Yeah. At
what he
cheaper
paid
the price for what he paid. All right. So there's a thought there.
Jim,
okay.
look at it. See what you think, but likely it's time for an upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, we have Sylvia in Green Valley.
All right. Hi, Sylvia.
Her son's in high school, and she wants to get him a Chromebook.
Okay.
He says, "No way, Mom. Not doing it. They're slow, and they can't run programs that I want." Well, that's kind of true.
Right.
Chromebooks are not great laptops.
Right.
And to be honest, he wants to play Minecraft or Roblox.
Right.
And you're not going to be doing that on a Chromebook.
He's in high school. He wants to play COD, the new one that's coming out.
Call of Duty. He wants to play Minecraft. He wants to play Doom. He wants to play, the games that Mom doesn't want him to play.
Right.
So there's truth to that statement that it can't play or do everything he wants it to do. That's true. If it's designed solely for schoolwork and you're word processing and you're just doing that, that's exactly what they're meant to be.
Right.
Word processing, low impact, low performance, just because if they're only running word processing and checking your emails, that's going to be great.
I think for Sylvia, I think some people don't understand what the difference is between a Chromebook and maybe a notebook that is running Windows or even a Mac, I guess you could say. Chromebook, for those that don't know, it's running an operating system developed by Google, Google Chrome, of course. Chromebook, that is the operating system. It's not Windows. So it's going to operate differently. There's some things that may not run with it, some things that will. And of course, the things that will are going to be optimized for school, for education. But again, your point there, Shawn, it may not be able to run some of the games that he wants to play in the off time. And the difference in pricing from a Chromebook, you can find a Chromebook for about $150 versus, Chromebooks can go all the way up to about $300, but you can find a really pretty good operating PC, a laptop for about $350 to about $499. And so that's probably what he's trying to convince Mom to do, is not buy that $150 Chromebook, spend the $500 and get something that maybe he'll be a little more happier with.
I think just looking at it, evaluating what he really needs to do or what he really wants to do with it. Maybe if he's a senior in high school, buying him something that can last him into college, not just high school.
Good one for Sylvia, too. And if you have a follow-up, let us know what you ended up getting him, Sylvia, because that would be that'd be kind of fun to find out in that case. I will tell you, Shawn, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about playing around with a Linux distribution called Ubuntu. And it looks just like Windows 11. And honestly, I was pretty happy with it. But I found an old laptop that was running Windows XP. And it was, I believe it was an HP. And I checked it. I plugged it in. Believe it or not, this thing had not been running in a while. It still had the BIOS password or the BIOS date accurate on it. You know, usually if you unplug a laptop or notebook or a desktop computer and just let it sit there, that little BIOS battery that's in there will wind out. And then next thing you know, all your settings will be gone and you'll have to reset it. It kept my date and time. And I hadn't fired this thing up. I hadn't fired this thing up seriously in about 6 years. That was pretty amazing. So I did plug it in. The BIOS was fine, but the battery on it was basically dead, and it can't be recharged. So I have to replace the battery. The battery replacement on this particular HP is going to cost me about $100. So do I really want to spend that on this machine? Not really. But I thought, well, this would be a good machine to run a distribution of Linux, the Linux Mint 22. A lot of people have been talking about. So what I did is I plugged it in. I found the power plug. I was lucky there. Plugged it in. I burned an ISO of the Linux Mint onto a DVD, and it has a DVD reader in it. And I went ahead and I booted up, and it saw that, and it went ahead and it opened me up. Next thing I knew, it took about 7 minutes. It booted up, and there was a Linux Mint screen. And I was looking at it, and then it said install Linux Mint. And then I realized I was running a live distribution of it. And we haven't talked about that. So if you have a DVD or you have a flash drive and it has Linux on it, you can actually plug that in and boot up to that. So you're not affecting your Windows system and instead booting up to this Linux system with that. So I started playing around with it, and I liked it. So I clicked on the install button because I figured I don't need anything on this drive. And it went through the routine, and then it asked me, do I want to install it as a sidekick and have it so when the system boots up, I can either choose to go to Windows XP or go to Linux. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I like that. So you have options. If you want to play around with Linux, you could do a live distribution, which I know Slick, we've talked to him before. He's done a lot of live distros. You can do basically at boot up, choose whether you want to do Linux or you want to do Windows. But I will tell you, Linux Mint 22 is pretty full featured. I was really impressed with it. You have Office, you have multimedia features. It doesn't do Microsoft Office. It does open. I want to say Lucha Libre, Open LibreOffice. You have a lot of features you could do with it. And so if you have an old laptop, and this was funny because I showed this on TV, but the battery was dead, and it took a little while to boot up because it's a little different, slower, Windows XP. So I took that Anchor power bank that I have, I plugged it in, and so I booted it up when I got to the TV station. So that way it was full powered, and I just used it that way. And it was great. We were able to show Linux Mint 22. So again, I really recommend it. I liked it.
So we're talking about Linux, right? So many of you listening probably, some of you may have heard us talk about Linux on the show before. Some of you may be hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Linux is just another operating system like Windows.
Or like Google,
or Mac,
like the Chromebook.
Mac OS or Chromium. You can make it as complicated as you want. They actually have the most market share that they've had ever in history in terms of OS, which is 4.4% of the market share, where Mac has 15% and Windows has 72%. You're not going to be getting something that's as more widely adopted as Windows or Mac, but There are if you're computer savvy, or you think you're computer savvy, or you want to be computer savvy, download it.
Yeah.
They're free. Most of them are free.
And that's the thing. What does it hurt? It's not like you're going to a store and buying it off the shelf and taking a shot and seeing if this, $115 program will work for you. You're giving it a shot. I mean, and if you like it, you can make a donation to the developer.
I'm telling you, though, the more and more they push full-featured ads in my start bar, in my home bar, in Windows, the more and more enticing it is to jump to Linux.
Yeah. Well, it's also frustrating, Shawn, with this whole Windows 11 thing that people are having to update. They're only going to, it will still work after October of next year, Windows 10. However, you're not going to get the security updates. And it's really been frustrating for so many people. That's why I went down this route, because I said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of, being forced by Microsoft to suddenly have to upgrade my hardware because I want to have this operating system for Windows 11. So that's why I've been taking a look at Linux, and I think more people will do that.
Well, I think as we get more and more bloated, I mean, everybody loves the sake of convenience, right? Windows, they're used to Windows. It's Windows. They're so tied in with Microsoft around the world, but people just need to be aware, like how much data they're actually taking from you. You're paying them most of the time. You're paying Windows for an operating system, and then they're just taking your data, and it's costing you more to give them the data than it is. Linux is going to come around, and people are going to start to see it as an alternative to Windows, as a non-ad flush space.
If anybody has any questions on that, feel free to drop me a line, techguys@techtalkradio.com. I'm going to take another break. Standing by, we're going to be talking with the manager for the brand new Curacao, which is opening in the Tucson Mall. They've got a pretty good tech department as well. And I got to tell you, after a visit to the Curacao that has been here for a while on 6th and the I-10, I was pretty impressed. I'll tell you why, and we'll talk to the manager about what they're doing with this brand new location coming up on Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Find us on Facebook, Tech Talkers.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So not long ago, I decided I needed to do some shopping. Now, for our tech segment that I do on News 13, Fox 11, I get to a point sometimes where I just get so busy I can't reach out to companies and get them to send me stuff to show on TV. So I go out and I buy it, especially if it's product that I think I'm going to want to use. And me and Gloria were talking about the fact that we had never ever been to Curacao, and Curacao is a retail store that is off 6th and the I-10. And I said, I really want to go. I want to go. But I also wanted to go to that market that's there because they sell Thrifty's ice cream that's next door to it. But I thought, okay, I really want to check this out. So I decided, let's go. So we went, and it was I believe it was a Sunday or Saturday. And I was so amazed, number one, at how big this location is, but also how great everybody was in the store. And I'm not just saying that. You get to a point sometimes where you go into retail and everybody's like there because they got to be there. They're making their paycheck. Not at Curacao. I felt like everybody that was there wanted to be there. They were friendly. When I asked, where's the tech? I was pointed like right there, and it's right up in front. And it was just a really great shopping experience, and pricing was really good. And I remember Gloria, was very happy too, because they have a children's bedding section, because, my grandson comes over and she wanted to get this little race car bed and was looking, and she actually said to the sales clerk that was helping us, I wish you were a little closer, because he said we live on the northwest side of Tucson, which is a bit of a trek to get over to 6th. And they put a big smile on their faces. Well, it looks like you're going to get the opportunity. Curacao is going to be opening a brand new location. And I was so excited to hear about that. I've been waiting. And finally, we get a chance to talk to Allison Gaxiola, who is the manager for the brand new location of Curacao, which is going to be at the Tucson Mall. Allison, it's great to talk to you.
Hi, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for coming into our store. We focus a lot on customer experience, so I'm glad that you like the experience there, people treated you well. We don't like to put pressure on anybody. But yes, thank you for coming all the way over there. But the good news is, like you said, we are going to open a new location in the Tucson Mall. So we're going to be moving to a bigger, more convenient spot for most people. So that's going to give us the opportunity to offer even more affordable quality products and different financing options that have already helped millions in the past.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at Curacao and the history of the company and you go back, I mean, they've got it. It started as from what I understand was a door-to-door operation of sales in Los Angeles, in that area.
Yep, exactly. Started door to door. The LA riots happened. It burned to the ground. They got a new location, and they've been on ever since. And they just keep growing.
Yep. Now we have locations in, I know, California, Arizona. Now, do you have some others?
In Nevada. We're in Las Vegas as well.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with Vegas. Somebody needs something.
Yep.
They're there for a show. There they go.
Exactly. Yeah. We're there.
And now, I think our listeners should understand too. You know, I am the tech guy. I'm a techie, so I love the technology. But they offer kind of a wide range of different products.
We do, yeah. So we have high quality electronics and home essentials. So without straining your budget, there's options for basically all of your home shopping all at once. Even beauty, we have a fashion department, so it's just a one-stop store. So it's great. Yeah,
I was shown the line of purses by Gloria that were there. Like, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. Now, one of the things I noticed, Allison, was that the tech section that's in there was pretty full. I mean, not only did you have a great selection of televisions, but like you had these Harman Kardon speaker systems that was on display and playing music and everything. But I'll be honest, I have not seen any of these in retail anywhere else. And we decided we wanted to get them because I've seen them online, but never in store to get an actual demonstration. How do you decide like what products are going to be on display and how tech you're going to be? Because from what I understand, you can even get motherboards.
Right. Yeah. So we want to stay competitive with the market. So we do observe what the competitors have and what we should be having, and obviously what people are looking for as well. So all of our products inside of the store, we want to have on display because we want people to feel it, to know what it's going to be like when they buy it. So basically anything that goes in, we're going to have it on display for you to make sure that you guys know what you're buying. And we do demos. So we make sure that our associates are trained to demonstrate the product for you guys and have that better experience once you have it at home.
Now, with this new location that's going to be at the Tucson Mall, can you tell us what part of the Tucson Mall that's going to be at?
Yes, so it's going to be at the old Forever 21 location. So it's a two-story building right by the food court, and there's two entrances. So you're going to see an entrance by the food court into the parking lot, and then there's an upstairs entrance from the parking lot as well. So you're going to just basically go on the side that's on by Macy's or Dillard's.
Now, will you be carrying the same line of products for our listeners that maybe have never stepped into Curacao, like I did for the first time 2 months ago? What are some of the different product lines that you have there at this store that will be there?
Yeah, so we have different brands. Think of most of the known brands, Samsung, the Harman, JBLs, all of those, what everybody else carries. And of course, newer models. We want to make sure that every year we stay up to date with the latest models. So you're going to see a little bit of everything in the computer department, HP, Lenovo, everything you see out there, and some of our brands as well. And in the TVs, and you'll see our brand, nobody else carries it. So you'll see some of those items there, which are more of the affordable for most customers as well. So you'll see a little bit of everything for everyone's budget.
We're big fans of Razer. I know that we saw Razer keyboards, my gaming products. So for the gamer or those that want to use their technology for business, they're going to find that with a pretty big display of monitors. I mean, you had everything from the 49-inch curved to, 27-inch even. And this surprised me. And, for those that are running servers that are looking for just a VGA solution, you had those there as well. And the price was great on those. So, again, you have products that kind of cover the gamut. We ended up getting ourselves the Anchor Power Bank, which was it's a portable power unit, and like I used it on television this past week because I had a laptop that battery on it's not working anymore, but it's from the old Windows XP days, and I needed to show it on TV booting up Linux. So we just plugged it into that power and took it onto the set with us. Nobody saw that, but that's how it got its power and without us having to wait 5 minutes for it to boot up. So it worked out. It worked out great with that anchored display there. So again, you have pretty much everything. Now, for somebody that comes in and they say, well, we want to finance it. You actually, Curacao has also been really good in their financing options when it comes to buying product.
Yep, exactly. We have different financing options. We, again, another way for us to stay competitive in the market and making sure that everybody gets the opportunity to get whatever they need for their home. There's different financing for everybody. We help everybody. So you walk in, we have an option for you and different financing options, as well as an in-house finance, which is a SEMA for us. So that would be a secondary.
Very cool. Now, there's a big grand opening celebration. It is scheduled, and this is when the doors will open October 5th, or will they be open kind of a soft opening before that?
Yeah, we plan on doing a soft opening the third week of September, so around the 14th, 15th of September, and the grand opening on October 5th.
October 5th. What's some of the stuff that's going to be happening for that day?
Yeah, so it's going to be hosted on the second level parking lot outside of the store. We're going to have doorbuster deals, giveaways, entertainment, and live music performances. So it's going to be a big event. So everybody should come through.
Well, one of the things we love about Curacao, too, is you're dedicated to being involved in the community, growth. This means jobs for those that are looking for employment. This is a great opportunity for those that are maybe going to school. They're looking for products, to help them with back to school. So we're really excited that this new location is going to be opening again. That'll be where the old Forever 21 is, the Tucson Mall. And I'm sure, Allison, you're pretty excited about this.
Absolutely. I can't put it into words. I'm very excited for us to just be in a more convenient location for a lot more people that haven't been able to go over there, or they weren't aware that we're in the south of Tucson right now.
Very good. Oracle and Wetmore is where the new location will be. 6th and I-10 if you want to check out the store, and you can even go online. What is the website address again?
It's going to be icuracao.com.
Very
so
cool.
Just add an I and then the store name.com.
Well, very good. Congratulations, Allison, on the new store. I'll bring you a cupcake. In the meantime, we will definitely keep an eye on some of the great deals that are there. I'm Andy Taylor. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
I want to make sure we get to this comment from David here in Green Valley.
Right.
That had a question regarding the old 1.44 floppies. Yeah. And I think we may have talked about this at some point before, but he has his computer does not have an A drive or a B drive, so he could read these and wanted to know if there's a place you could go. Actually, you're better off, I think, David, if you jump on Amazon or maybe even hit your retailer to see if they have it. They might have it. They've got the 1.44 floppies that connects via USB. So you can connect it. You should be able to read that old drive and be able to copy that data that way. And they're not that expensive. I want to say maybe $25, $30. You should be able to do that. And that way, if you need to get something off of those, you can. Now, if you have a question for the show, please drop us a line anytime. Tech guys at TechtalkRadio.com. We're on Facebook, Facebook.com/Tech Talkers. We have a phone number, 520-777-9580. You can leave a message there. And if you've got a question or a comment for the show that we could share on the air, we would love to do that as well. Now, Shawn has been following something that he's kind of passionate about, and that's amateur radio, ham radio, and wanted to share a situation they're going through.
So we occasionally talk about ransomware attacks and malware attacks and things like that, and some of us have been directly affected by those. And one of the companies that, actually it's not a company, it's just the Amateur Radio Relay League, which is the ARRL, which is basically the home of ham radio, in May had a cyber attack. They got ransomware. They suffered a cyber attack, disrupted their network and their systems, including various online services hosted. So some of their stuff was down for a long time. But they actually paid the ransom.
Wait, they paid it? What? They couldn't just reset up everything, or it would have been just too much?
Who knows? I mean, if you don't have a good backup or the data is that valuable, it's worth it to pay.
Well, it's kind of a big warning there on the importance of this day and age, too, of making a backup and having a great backup. But, I know that usually CISA recommends not paying. Yeah.
Right. It's just going to encourage them to do more. And
Yeah.
then they have money. They're funded. They're
Right.
funding terrorists, basically, cyber terrorists. Yeah. So, but the data that was taken had member databases, some private information, names, addresses, call signs, that type of stuff. So,
Wow.
and more often than not, your call sign is tied to your home address, like mine is.
Oh,
So
same
if you
here.
Search for me,
Yeah.
If you search for me, my call sign will take you to my home address. A lot of people will tell you to use a PO box, but so it's just another company hit by a ransomware attack. Everybody's vulnerable, so just gotta.
Well, you look at the last week, SeaTac, Seattle Airport also had a malware attack, and it cripples the system. And it's, we think about it, we say, okay, yeah, the system's down. That's how they operate. So when they can't operate, they're losing money. And that's exactly what happened. It's like, we know that CrowdStrike wasn't, malware, wasn't ransomware. But when that event happened, that cost companies a lot of money. Delta still apparently is reeling from the amount of money that it cost them. So
yeah, I mean, if any company's down, that's money they're losing. It's
Right.
crazy how it's just another part of the technological world we live in, where if technology is down, they can't make money.
Yep. Last week, Larry in Tucson sent us a question about finding tech podcasts, and I like Justin's resource thing. Okay, yeah, here's a good one for you, TechtalkRadio.com. But you may have heard of the Internet Archive. And the Internet Archive is a way to archive the web, archive websites, archive literature, television, film, a whole bunch of stuff. And they just recently did a project. They preserved a classic radio show on early computer technology from the 80s that had a bunch of people involved in this that were guests being interviewed. We're talking the 80s. So this is at the, the height of, the home computers. I remember going to Egghead Software, back in 1984. And, they were little stores, but they were so busy. This show is called The Famous Computer Cafe. And they found 53 episodes that aired from 1983 to 1986. And Sean, do you know who some of those interviews are?
I mean, yeah. I'm just looking it up, but it's like Bill Gates, Jack Tramiel,
Yep.
Bill Atkinson, Timothy Leary, Douglas Adams, like computer icons.
Yeah. Talking about what they were doing at the beginning of this computer revolution, we'll call it that. And they found these shows, and they're going to be, and the thing is, they're not available. Like I would say, okay, we're going to air episode 1 or episode 2. They're available for you to listen to at the Internet Archive. And
but listen to this, right? So the creators of the famous computer cafe, they saved every episode on reel-to-reel tapes.
right.
But over the years, the tapes were forgotten and ultimately lost.
Wow.
Earlier this year, an archivist recovered several of their tapes in a property sale.
What?
And was
Reel to reel, not cassette. Yeah.
And recognized their value and decided they launched a GoFundMe and had them digitized and made them available to the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
So-
Now that is what is the Internet Archive? How can listeners get to it?
Blog.archive.org.
All right.
Or just
archive.org.
Just Google the Internet Archive. You're going to find all sorts of stuff. If you like old DOS games, you can actually play old DOS games right at the Internet Archive, which is pretty cool. But go to this. Just go to the. We'll put a link in our blog for this,
Right.
because they have a blog about this whole process. There's actually a picture that this person put up there of the tapes in a box
Yeah.
that have handwritten on here. Ed Thompson, Timothy Lee, like this is cool. Seeing
Yeah.
these handwritten notes on the reel-to-reels.
That they were able to
They have
put
one.
together.
They talked to the FCC. They talked to. Yeah, it's really cool to see this box of labeled, and to date myself a little bit here.
Yeah.
None of these dates are after I was born. These are all pre-1986.
Before you were born,
I was born.
right? Isn't that
So
crazy?
It's wild how these people impacted technology so much back in the 80s,
Right.
before I was even born.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing stuff. So again, you can find that at archive.org. All kinds of great stuff up there. If you want to look at a website, what did that website look like 5 years ago, 6 years ago? You could do that as well by typing the website address in and just choose the date and You can take a look there, even read some of the articles that maybe aren't on that website anymore. All right, that's it for this week's show. Hopefully, you're going to be doing a little camping trip, right? You're going to hit the road?
Yeah, I got the camper out today to get it just checked out, just get it going. We're going, yeah, we always go up for Labor Day weekend, go camping. Hopefully the Northern Lights play nice.
Cool.
We had some solar activity last week. Hopefully the sun will be angry this week, and we'll get some stuff.
Well, definitely share some pictures up on the blog. Again, you can check the video up on our blog, blog.techtalkradio.com. For Tech Talk Radio, I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird. You can follow us on X at Tech Talk Radio.
Have a great week.